Mind reading sounds like a mysterious and unfathomable term, but in reality it is not a display of supernatural power. It is a kind of knowledge built on solid psychology and interpersonal communication skills. Mind reading is not about prying into other people's privacy, but about understanding others through careful observation and keen perception. It can help us build deeper and more genuine relationships, and enhance mutual trust and understanding. In this complex and ever-changing society, having a certain mind-reading ability undoubtedly gives our lives an extra layer of security. In the previous 2 episodes, we explored the first 60 mind-reading insights. Today we'll continue with items 61 to 120.
61. People who don't fit in are usually either very independent-minded or rather withdrawn. In social situations, we often notice those who don't blend into the group. Some of them have very strong personal opinions and a clear understanding and plan for their own life and interests. They don't want to just go with the flow or take part in social activities they consider meaningless. For example, at a party where everyone else is chatting and having fun, they may feel it's a waste of time and would rather spend it reading or studying what they love, so they choose to be on their own. Another portion of such people are more solitary by nature. Because of past experiences, perhaps they were hurt by others or frustrated repeatedly in social situations, they develop a resistance to social interaction. They get used to shutting themselves off. Even when they are physically in a crowd, it's hard for them to truly fit in, and they tend to keep a distance from others, staying alone in their own small inner world. 62. People who put the ugly truth on the table first are usually more pragmatic. They are willing to talk to you about risks and benefits, to give you a mental vaccination. These people are steady and dependable. When dealing with others or entering into a cooperation, they don't just say pleasing words that fill everyone with blind expectations. Instead, they will frankly lay out the possible downsides and potential risks first. For instance, in a business partnership, they'll clearly point out market risks, possible cash flow issues, and so on. At the same time, they will also analyze what benefits success could bring, so that both sides can understand the whole picture. They do this because they have a down-to-earth attitude. They don't want blind optimism to leave everyone caught off guard when problems arise later. They would rather prepare in advance and let everyone have realistic expectations through this pre-warning approach. People who can calmly and objectively look at things, consider all kinds of possibilities, and plan ahead like this usually have a very steady personality. They can stay composed in complex situations and are often reliable partners worth working with and trusting. 63. Those who often badmouth others behind their backs in a sour and sarcastic way are narrow-minded. Never get too close to them. In fact, it's best not to even be friends. These people love to make snide, sarcastic remarks when others aren't around. On the surface they may not openly show their dissatisfaction, but through insinuations and sharp, passive-aggressive comments they judge others. For example, when they see a colleague get promoted, they'll say behind their back, "Who knows what tricks they used to get there?" Or when a friend buys new clothes, they'll sneer, "That doesn't even look good, why waste so much money?" They cannot bear to see others doing well. Their hearts are full of jealousy and resentment. Whenever someone achieves something or gains a reward, they can't help but tear them down. That if you spend time with such a person, any small achievement of yours might become a target for their attacks. They find it hard to genuinely celebrate other people's success. With such a narrow mind, they are not suitable to be your friend, let alone someone you get close to. Otherwise, they will only bring endless trouble and negativity into your life. 64. People who like to add emojis when chatting are generally more considerate of others. In online chats or daily conversations, those who habitually add emojis are actually being very intentional about communication. They understand that plain text can sometimes feel stiff and cold, and may not accurately convey their emotions or attitude. A well-chosen emoji, however, can complement the message perfectly. For instance, adding a smiling emoji can make the other person feel friendliness and warmth. A sad emoji can express empathy and let the other person know that you're feeling with them. When they type, they tend to put themselves in the other person's shoes, hoping their message is not only clear in meaning but also emotionally warm and caring. By using small emojis to create a pleasant atmosphere, they show that they are thoughtful and considerate in communication. This habit actually reflects their ability to think for others and their desire to maintain a good emotional connection. 65. The person who is best at toasting at the drinking table is usually the one whose words you should trust the least. What they say is often better than a song, but emptier than air. At drinking occasions, there is often this type of person. They are extremely good at toasting. Beautiful phrases roll off their tongue effortlessly. Our bond runs deep, bottoms up. I've always admired you so much. This drink is to you, and so on. When they toast, they smile warmly and speak with apparent sincerity, making every sentence sound heartfelt. But in reality, most of these words are just for show, to liven up the atmosphere, curry favor, or achieve their own goals. After 3 rounds of drinks, they may completely forget the promises they made earlier and have no intention of fulfilling them. For example, they might promise to help someone with something, but later keep making excuses to avoid it. So when dealing with people who are slick-tongued and especially good at toasting on drinking occasions, don't take their words at face value. You need to stay alert and keep your guard up. 66. People who start shaking their leg as soon as they sit down usually have an unsettled mind, aim high but act low, and rarely achieve anything big. When you see someone sit down and immediately start bouncing their leg, this seemingly unconscious little habit actually reveals quite a bit. Such people often have an unstable temperament and find it hard to focus on one thing for long. Whatever they do, their enthusiasm lasts only a short while, and they lack the perseverance to stick with it. For example, when studying, they learn for a bit and then get distracted by something else. Their mind simply won't calm down. At the same time, they often have grand ambitions in their head, dreaming of doing something great in life, but their actions never keep up. They are unwilling to start from the basics and work steadily step by step, instead fantasizing about achieving success easily. Over time, without a grounded attitude toward work and without the ability to concentrate deeply, it becomes very hard for them to make significant achievements on their life path, so it's equally hard for them to amount to much. 67. The ones who keep saying, "I'm leaving," are usually the ones who never leave. The ones who truly leave do it quietly. In life, we often encounter this. Some people always have phrases like, "I'm done," "I'm leaving," or "I don't want to stay here anymore" on their lips. From time to time, they complain to those around them, loudly declaring that they want to leave a place or walk away from a relationship. In reality, they are usually just venting their emotions or hoping to draw attention and get others to persuade or comfort them. Deep down, they haven't really made up their mind. Those who truly decide to leave have already silently made all the necessary preparations. They've sorted out their thoughts, packed their bags, and they don't feel the need to make a big announcement. They simply slip away quietly. They don't want to trouble others, nor do they want their departure to turn into a dramatic scene. Once they take that step, their mind is made up and there's no turning back. Their leaving may catch people off guard, but it must still be respected as their choice. 68. Maybe next time. See you around. Let's hang out when we're free. That's not being busy, that's a polite rejection. In social interactions, we often hear these vague replies. "Next time, I'm really busy right now," or "See you later, I've got something going on." In many cases, this doesn't mean the person is truly too busy to spare a moment. It's simply a tactful way of saying no, for various reasons. They may not want to openly reject you and make you feel embarrassed. so they use these seemingly open-ended phrases to express their attitude. Perhaps they're not very interested in your suggestion, or they just don't feel like joining that particular activity, but they'd rather not damage the relatively harmonious relationship you have. So they choose this ambiguous way to hint at their refusal. At such times, we should learn to read between the lines and not keep pushing. Otherwise, both sides may end up in an awkward situation. 69. Women often ask questions they already know the answer to, so you'd better be honest. Sometimes a woman will ask questions to which she already knows the answer, and there is usually a deeper intention behind this. She might want to use your answer to verify her own thoughts and see whether you're on the same wavelength, or she may be testing your honesty. For example, she may clearly know that you met with a female friend yesterday, but she still asks, "Where did you go yesterday?" If you try to hide it or respond vaguely and she finds out, it will damage her trust in you. So when faced with this kind of question, you should stick to honesty. Even if your answer isn't exactly what she was hoping to hear, being straightforward helps her feel your sincerity and is better for maintaining a healthy relationship. After all, trust is absolutely crucial in any relationship. 70. That the quietest person in a group may be the most capable one, or the one doing the worst. In a group setting where people are chatting, the person who speaks the least tends to stand out in a subtle way. Some of these quiet people are actually very capable. They have rich knowledge and deep insight, but they don't feel the need to talk a lot to show off. They prefer to let their actions speak for themselves. For instance, at an industry seminar, there may be an expert who listens silently to everyone else, but the moment they speak, they put forward a unique and highly valuable perspective that impresses everyone. On the other hand, some quiet people are silent because of introversion or a lack of confidence. They're at a disadvantage socially, don't know how to join the conversation, and don't have particularly outstanding abilities to display. As a result, they have low presence in the group and are doing relatively poorly, just sitting quietly in a corner while watching others talk and joke around. 71. People who love posting their workout achievements on their social media feed are craving recognition. A social feed is like a small stage for showcasing one's life, and those who eagerly share how many kilometers they ran today, what kind of muscle definition they've built, or which difficult exercise they've just completed are not just casually recording their lives. Deep down, they want to use these displays to gain their friends' approval and likes, hoping others will notice their effort and persistence and praise them for being disciplined and determined. Every post is a way of affirming themselves, while also hoping for the same affirmation from the outside world. In their eyes, other people's recognition is the best reward for their training, giving them even more motivation to keep going on the path of pursuing health and shaping a better version of themselves. 72. People who are always wearing headphones need a world of their own. Walking through streets and alleys, you'll often see people who have their headphones on almost all the time, immersed in their own little universe. They may be using the music, audiobooks, or other sounds in their ears to block out the noise and chaos of the outside world, creating a quiet space that belongs only to them. In that space, they can temporarily escape life's pressures and social distractions, calm down to think, or simply relax. For example, on a crowded subway full of people and chatter, the person with headphones on seems to be somewhere else entirely, following the rhythm of the music or sinking into the storyline of what they're listening to, enjoying a unique sense of tranquility that lets their body and mind rest for a moment. This is their own special way of coping with the complexity of the outside world. 73. People who always arrive early for appointments value time very highly. Whether it's a gathering with friends, a business meeting, or any other kind of engagement, these people have the habit of getting to the agreed place ahead of time. They treat time as something very important and see punctuality as a basic quality and a form of respect for others. By arriving early, they can use that extra time to organize their thoughts, check whether everything they've prepared is in order, and make sure the upcoming meeting goes smoothly. They understand that once time is lost, it can never be recovered, so they are reluctant to waste even a minute spent on the way to an appointment. For instance, a job applicant who arrives early for an interview can make a good impression on the interviewer, showing a serious and punctual attitude and demonstrating how much they value the opportunity. This habit of cherishing time often shows up in many other areas of their life and work as well. 74. People who don't like to smile are often full of inner defensiveness. Those who rarely smile are not necessarily born cold or indifferent. Many times it's because they carry a strong sense of self-protection inside. Perhaps past experiences have hurt them. Maybe they were deceived or betrayed, so they no longer dare to easily reveal their emotions to others, afraid of being hurt again. When dealing with people, they tend to keep a sense of distance, using a serious expression to cover up their inner anxiety and vulnerability, as if they were building an invisible wall to keep others out. Even when they are faced with warmth and friendliness, they will first observe and evaluate cautiously, and it is hard for them to open up right away. Only when they are sure the other person is truly trustworthy will they slowly put down their guard and finally show a genuine smile. 75. People who are never late are extremely self-disciplined in their daily lives. Those who manage to never be late, no matter what kind of occasion or appointment it is, are truly admirable, and behind this lies a very high level of self-discipline. They have strict standards for themselves and plan their time in advance, arranging everything in an orderly way, from getting up, washing, and getting ready to leave the house, to the commute on the road. Every step is carefully controlled. They won't let a moment of procrastination or a sudden impulse to do something else disrupt their schedule. For example, at work they arrive on time every day, or even show up early to get prepared. By keeping up this habit over the long term, they're able to handle all aspects of life in an organized manner. This kind of self-discipline not only helps them complete tasks efficiently, but also shapes a positive personal image and earns the respect and trust of others. 76. People who are good at observing details often possess astonishing powers of insight. In life, there is a group of people who seem to have very keen antennae and are excellent at picking up on all kinds of subtle cues. Whether it's a fleeting look or a small, unconscious gesture from the person they're talking to, or a tiny change in the surrounding environment, none of it escapes their eyes. From these details, they can detect a lot of deeper information. For example, at the negotiation table, by noticing things like the other party slightly frowning or their fingers unconsciously tapping the table, they can infer that the other side may be dissatisfied with a certain term or feeling a bit nervous inside. In daily life, they can also sense a friend's recent emotional state or life changes from things like shifts in tone of voice or changes in clothing style. This remarkable insight gives them a unique advantage in interpersonal communication and in handling all kinds of situations. 77. The less capable a person is, the louder they tend to speak, because that is where their sense of confidence and presence comes from. We often find that some people don't actually have much real ability, yet when they speak, their voices are especially loud, as if they want the whole world to hear them. This is because they lack genuine inner confidence and have no solid skills or achievements to show, so they can only raise their volume to draw attention, trying to make others think they are impressive and thereby boost their sense of existence. For example, in a discussion setting, some people may not have any deep insights into the issue, but they constantly rush to speak loudly, saying a lot of empty, superficial things just so others will notice them and see them as someone important. Truly capable people, on the other hand, don't need to rely on volume to prove themselves. They prefer to demonstrate their strength through concrete actions and solid results. 78. In fact, people with thick eyebrows are generally energetic, have a strong inner desire for control, and tend to have a big temper and act impulsively. From the perspective of face reading, Those with thick eyebrows usually give others the impression of being full of energy. They seem to have endless strength and can throw themselves into work or life with great enthusiasm, rarely appearing weak or listless. At the same time, such people often have a strong inner need to control things. They like to arrange matters according to their own ideas and take charge of situations, and they are not very willing to easily follow other people's opinions. Once developments stray from the track they had in mind, they are prone to losing their temper and reacting impulsively because they are eager to pull everything back to the state they expect. For example, in team cooperation, a person with thick eyebrows may explode in anger if teammates fail to follow their plan. This big temper and tendency toward impulsiveness are closely related to their strong desire for control. 79. People who are overly driven by lust usually have poor character. Those who are obsessed with lust often focus too much on others' appearance, figure, and other external traits while neglecting respect and appreciation for others' inner qualities. When they interact with people, their motives may not be pure. They frequently approach others with inappropriate intentions and may even do things that make people uncomfortable or violate moral norms. For instance, in the workplace they might use their position to harass colleagues of the opposite sex, or in social settings they may speak in a lewd, suggestive way and behave indecently. By caring only about physical attraction and failing to respect others or restrain their own desires, they thoroughly expose their low moral character, making it very hard for others to trust them or build a close relationship with them. After all, a person of high moral standards approaches others with a healthy and proper mindset, not one driven by lust. 80. Snobbish people turn their faces faster than anyone else. In the eyes of a snobbish person, only profit and personal gain matter, and they decide their attitude and behavior based on the other party's status, position, and wealth. When you have power, influence, or something they can benefit from, they will go out of their way to flatter you, run around on your behalf, and greet you with a beaming smile, acting as if they are your closest friend. But once you lose the conditions that allow them to profit, such as a drop in rank or a decline in wealth, their attitude will instantly do a 180-degree turn. They become cold and distant, barely responding to you, or even kicking you when you're down. In social situations, examples like this are all too common. For instance, when someone is thriving in business, they are surrounded by a crowd of so-called friends, yet once their business fails, those people disappear without a trace and may even make snide comments behind their back. The speed at which a snobbish person can turn on you is truly chilling and reveals their ugly nature for what it is. 81. Narrow-minded people love to fuss over things. Narrow-minded people usually have a very small heart and cannot tolerate even a grain of sand in their eyes, so they are particularly obsessed with counting gains and losses. Whether it's small matters in daily life, like dividing something and always feeling they got slightly less, or at work when someone else receives a bit more recognition or a higher reward, they will brood over it and keep thinking about how to make up for that so-called loss. They find it hard to look at issues from other people's perspectives and think only about whether their own interests have been harmed, often getting into conflicts or arguments with others over trivial things. For example, in a shared apartment, a narrow-minded person might keep nagging and complaining because a roommate used a bit more water or electricity, even stirring up fierce quarrels. This habit of nitpicking not only makes their own life exhausting, but also damages the harmony of the relationships around them. 82. Gossipers attract trouble. People who are obsessed with gossip seem to have endless curiosity about other people's personal affairs and are always poking around and spreading all kinds of rumors. Whether it's neighborhood family disputes or private matters between colleagues and friends, as long as they hear something, they will exaggerate and embellish it when retelling it to others, and they enjoy it immensely. They meddle in others' business not because they truly want to help solve problems, but mainly to satisfy their own gossip mentality and to become the source of information so they can appear well-informed and gain a sense of presence among others. Yet this behavior often creates a lot of disputes. What might originally have been a small issue becomes a major conflict after being spread and dramatized by them, leaving those involved embarrassed or distressed. So when dealing with gossipers, you have to be cautious so as not to be dragged into unnecessary drama. 83. Many people who complain that marriage is the grave of love are not thinking very clearly, and in most cases the problem actually lies with them. We often hear some people say that marriage kills love, but if you analyze it carefully, you'll find that these people often lack a correct understanding of marriage and the wisdom to maintain it. During dating, they may only see the beautiful side of love, enjoying the romance and sweetness, without realizing that marriage requires both partners to put in effort, tolerance, and understanding. Once they enter marriage and encounter the trivialities and frictions of daily life, they start to complain about everything and blame the institution of marriage itself, instead of reflecting on whether they have fulfilled their own responsibilities. For example, whether they have cared enough about their partner or been too self-centered in handling family affairs. In fact, marriage is like a mirror that reflects one's own issues. Those who are always complaining are often the ones with shortcomings they have not recognized clearly, yet they blindly blame marriage as an external form. 84. When a guy is no longer obsessed with basketball and no longer joking around in games every day, you don't need to doubt it. He has started focusing on making money. In their youth, many boys are extremely passionate about basketball, rushing to the court the moment school is over and sweating it out, or whenever they have free time, they dive into the world of games, laughing and messing around with friends, enjoying carefree days. However, as they grow older or as life pressure increases, there comes a day when you notice that the boy who used to live for basketball and games has changed. He no longer spends so much time on these entertainments. In most cases, it means he has started to recognize the realities of life and set a more important goal, making money. Maybe he wants to lay a financial foundation for the future, such as buying a home and starting a family, or perhaps he wants to build a career, so he puts away his playful side and devotes his energy to work, study, improving his skills, or seeking ways to earn. This transformation often signals that he is becoming more mature and beginning to shoulder the responsibilities of life. 85. People who do not make enemies, remain neither servile nor overbearing, have their own opinions, and speak little are well suited to be true, heart-to-heart friends. In our complex and fast-paced world, there is a type of person who follows the principle of not creating enemies. No matter what situation or what kind of person they face, they won't easily provoke conflict and always try to resolve problems with a calm and peaceful mindset, avoiding unnecessary clashes. At the same time, they interact with others in a way that is neither humble nor arrogant. They won't flatter someone just because that person has a high status, nor will they look down on someone ordinary, always maintaining their own dignity and confidence. They also have clear personal opinions and, when facing decisions, can rely on their own thinking and judgment instead of blindly going with the crowd. Though they don't talk much, every sentence is well thought out and carries weight. Being around such people, you don't have to worry about being manipulated or dragged into pointless disputes. They are like a quiet, still lake that makes you feel safe to confide in. They are very suitable as close friends, because they understand respect and empathy and can offer sincere, thoughtful responses. 86. When a person is irritated, you see their level of self-cultivation. When they are alone, you see their true character. When someone is in a state of agitation, their emotions are easily out of control and negative feelings surge like a tidal wave. This is when their self-discipline and manners are most tested. A person with good self-cultivation, even when feeling restless and upset inside, will not casually lose their temper at others. Instead, they will try to restrain themselves and vent their emotions in a healthy way, such as taking deep breaths in silence or going for a walk alone, without letting their bad mood spill over onto those around them. When alone, with no external supervision or company, a person is entirely in their own world, and their true character naturally emerges. Someone with good character will use their alone time for self-improvement, reflecting on the past, or quietly enjoying their own moments, rather than doing things that violate morality or harm others' interests. So these two particular situations, irritation and solitude, are like mirrors that clearly reflect a person's inner reality, revealing both their self-cultivation and their character. 87. People with relatively large earlobes are often easygoing and non-competitive, with the temperament of a nice person, and such people are often said to be blessed with good fortune. In traditional views, those with large earlobes are frequently given a special symbolic image. They usually give others a gentle and broad-minded impression, as if they see worldly conflicts lightly and don't like to get involved in disputes, preferring instead to live their lives peacefully. They are like the good old souls in everyday life, kind to others, willing to help, and seldom fussing over gains and losses. Whether it's a friend asking for help or small neighborhood matters, they will do their best to lend a hand without expecting anything in return. Perhaps it is precisely because of this non-competitive, kind, and open-hearted nature that there always seems to be a harmonious atmosphere around them, with smooth relationships, and they are more likely to encounter good fortune in life, such as being appreciated by others or having someone voluntarily step in to help when they are in difficulty. Over time, it feels as if a kind of good luck accompanies them. Although this idea carries a hint of traditional superstition, it also reflects people's admiration for such beautiful qualities. 88. People who speak slowly but with clear logic and structure are thinking as they talk and are usually cautious and careful with their words. In conversation, we may notice a type of person whose speaking pace is relatively slow. They don't rush to pour out everything at once. This is because, as they begin to speak, their brain is also running at high speed, organizing language while thinking about whether what they are expressing is accurate and reasonable, and whether it will allow the other person to clearly understand their meaning. Every sentence is considered carefully, with clear logic and structure. For example, when presenting a viewpoint, they will first state their main point, then methodically list supporting arguments, and finally draw a conclusion, making everything easy to follow. They fully understand the idea that, the more you say, the more mistakes you may make, so they are very cautious and won't casually make unfounded or irresponsible remarks. People who are this careful with their words also tend to be steadier and more reliable when making decisions in work and life, and are therefore more worthy of others' trust. 89. People who constantly praise you often have an agenda. In life, we often meet people who keep showering us with compliments. You're amazing, you did such a fantastic job, and so on. The flattering words never seem to end. But many times, these compliments are not simply out of pure appreciation or genuine recognition. They may have all kinds of motives behind them. Some want to use flattery to get closer to you so that you will have a good impression of them, making you more willing to help when they need something in the future. Others do it to create an image of being friendly and good at seeing others' strengths in public, thereby improving their own popularity. Still others, in business settings, may use praise to win you over, make you lower your guard, and get you to more readily accept the conditions they propose. So when facing people who excessively praise you, you shouldn't be dazzled by a few kind words. Instead, you need to stay clear-headed and try to see the real intentions behind them. 90. People whose eyes are constantly darting around may be hiding secrets in their hearts. The eyes are the window of the soul, and changes in one's gaze often reveal their true inner thoughts. When someone's eyes keep shifting around during a conversation and they can't maintain eye contact for long, it often suggests that they are hiding something and trying to cover it up. Maybe they have told a lie and are afraid of being seen through, so they avoid direct eye contact as a way to escape scrutiny. Or perhaps they have secrets they don't want others to know and worry that they might accidentally reveal something while talking, so they let their gaze wander to distract the other person's attention. For example, in a job interview, a candidate who has concealed certain details about their experience may find their eyes involuntarily drifting around when answering related questions, unable to look the interviewer straight in the eye. Therefore, by observing a person's eyes, we can make a preliminary judgment about whether they may be hiding something. 91. People who keep walking around at an event are usually not the truly important figures. In various social, business, or public occasions, those who really have status and standing tend to carry themselves with a calm and composed presence. They usually stay in a relatively fixed spot, either chatting warmly with others or listening attentively to what people are saying, with graceful manners and an unhurried air that shows their quiet confidence and sense of control. By contrast, the people who are constantly pacing back and forth are mostly restless inside, lacking a clear sense of their own position and not having enough inner confidence. They may be anxiously looking for someone they know or trying to attract attention, or they may simply feel nervous and uneasy in such a setting and can only relieve their inner pressure by moving around. In any case, just from this behavior of frequent wandering, you can roughly tell that they are not the ones in key positions with deep influence. 92. That the lower a person's level of cognition, the more they like to look for faults in others. People with relatively low cognitive ability often lack the capacity to understand and analyze things in a comprehensive and in-depth way, and they find it hard to reflect on problems from their own perspective. When something goes wrong or conflicts arise, their first reaction is not to think about what they themselves might have done incorrectly, but to habitually push all the responsibility onto others. For example, when a team project fails, they won't consider whether they were careless during execution or failed to fulfill their responsibilities. Instead, they will complain that their teammates were useless or that the external environment was unfavorable. They always look at issues from their own narrow point of view, unable to see their own shortcomings and unwilling to improve their cognition and change themselves to avoid similar situations in the future. Over time, they fall into a vicious cycle where their cognition never improves. Whenever problems arise, all they know how to do is blame others, making it very hard for them to truly grow and progress. 93. That whatever you worry about is what ends up controlling you. In life, people often have all kinds of worries, and once these worries take root in the heart, they become like invisible ropes that bind us. For example, if someone constantly worries about making mistakes at work, they will become timid and hesitant when doing things, afraid to try new methods or accept new challenges. Tasks they could have handled well may end up badly done because of this worry. Or if someone worries about being abandoned in a relationship, they may become overly suspicious and controlling, interfering too much in their partner's life, and as a result they end up damaging what was once a harmonious relationship. In many cases, the things we worry about may never actually happen, but because that worry occupies our mind, we lose our natural composure and confidence and become tightly controlled by it, unable to face life freely and easily. Only by learning to let go of unnecessary worries can we truly take charge of our own life. 94. To judge a person's character, look at how they treat those who are weaker. To judge a person's strength, look at how they treat those who are stronger. The quality of a person's character is often most clearly revealed in their attitude toward the weak. Someone with good character will show compassion and care when facing those who are weaker, and will voluntarily reach out a helping hand, whether providing material support in life or giving emotional encouragement. They will show no trace of disdain or arrogance. For instance, when they see an elderly person having difficulty crossing the street, they will actively offer support. When they learn that children in poor areas need help, they will willingly donate money or supplies. On the other hand, how a person treats the strong can show their true level of ability. A capable person will not blindly flatter or cling to those in power. Instead, they will interact with them with equal respect and a proactive attitude of learning. They can appreciate the strengths of those who are more powerful, but also rely on their own abilities to communicate and cooperate with them, neither servile nor overbearing. By observing a person from these two angles, you can basically form a fairly accurate judgment of both their character and their strength. 95. After a big group laugh, everyone will subconsciously look at the person they like. In lively situations where many people are laughing together, the laughter is like an invisible bond that ties everyone's emotions together. In this joyful atmosphere, the feelings hidden deep in each person's heart are often revealed without them realizing it. When the laughter bursts out, people will subconsciously cast their eyes toward the person they are secretly drawn to, as if wanting to share this happiness with them through that brief exchange of glances, or to see whether that person is also immersed in the same joy. For example, at a class reunion, when everyone doubles over with laughter at a funny joke, the one who secretly has a crush on a classmate will involuntarily let their gaze fall on that person, their eyes full of warmth and expectation. This subtle action is actually a special kind of attention hidden behind the laughter, directed toward the one they like. 96. Rubbing the nose often indicates someone is trying to hide the truth. In interpersonal communication or certain specific situations, body language can convey a lot of hidden information, and rubbing the nose is one of the more typical gestures. When someone starts rubbing their nose unconsciously while speaking or answering a question, it often means they're trying to cover up something they don't want others to know. Perhaps they've told a lie and feel guilty inside, so they use this action to relieve their nervousness and divert attention away from their words. Or maybe they know some secret they don't want to reveal, and nose rubbing becomes an unconscious way to hide it. For example, in a job interview, a candidate who has embellished their resume may rub their nose frequently when asked about those particular experiences. At such times, the interviewer can take note, because this gesture may well indicate that the person is not telling the whole truth. 97. If a surprised expression lasts more than 1 second, it's usually fake surprise. Under normal circumstances, when people are genuinely surprised, their facial expression is brief and natural because it's an instant emotional reaction. After the brain receives unexpected information, the body instinctively responds with a quick expression, perhaps widening the eyes, slightly opening the mouth, and then soon returns to normal. But if someone's surprised look lingers on their face for more than a second, it's very likely an act. For example, in negotiations, one side may put forward a proposal that seems very shocking, and the other side shows a surprised expression, but if that expression hangs there on their face unnaturally long, it's probably intentional posturing. They may want to make you feel that your proposal is extremely unexpected, or use the exaggerated reaction to buy time to think about their response strategy. By paying attention to how long the surprised expression lasts, we can make a first guess about whether it's real or fake. 98. If someone can't recount an event in reverse order, it's very likely the story is made up. This is a common technique in police interrogations. In interrogations, there's an effective way to distinguish truth from lies. Ask the suspect to describe the events backwards. For something that really happened, the person will have a clear memory trace in their mind, so even if they're asked to recall it in reverse, they can still basically tell it smoothly. They might hesitate slightly on a detail or two, but overall they can still explain it in an organized way. However, if the story is fabricated, because it was made up on the spot, they might be able to barely get through it in a normal, forward narrative. But once you ask them to recall it backwards, the logic quickly becomes confused, details don't match, and they may not be able to complete the account at all. Fabricated content has no real memory behind it, so it can't withstand this kind of reverse test. That's why this method often helps the police judge whether someone is lying. 99. When you accidentally do something wrong, the people who truly care about you and are close to you don't really need much explanation. They'll understand you anyway. But for those who already don't like you, no matter how much you explain, it usually won't help. In life, it's inevitable to make mistakes, and that's when you really see the different attitudes of those around you. The ones who genuinely care about you and have a close relationship with you understand your character and know you didn't do it on purpose, so even before you explain, they'll naturally try to see things from your perspective, treat the situation with tolerance, and may even comfort you and help you find ways to make up for the mistake. Those who already can't stand you, however, will seize the opportunity. No matter how sincerely you explain the reasons and express your apology, they won't easily accept it and may even use it as a chance to criticize or mock you. Their prejudice against you has long been there, and they have no intention of understanding you objectively. In such cases, explaining yourself to them is often a waste of energy. It's better to spend that effort on the people who are truly worth cherishing. 100. People who have helped you before will generally help you again. People who have screwed you over before are very likely to screw you again. In relationships, there is often a kind of inertia. Those who once reached out a helping hand are usually kind-hearted and willing to help others. When they see you in trouble again, based on the bond you share in their own good nature, they'll very likely offer help once more without hesitation. For example, when you were starting a business and cash was tight, a friend might have generously lent you money. Later, when you run into problems expanding your business, that same friend will most likely still do their best to help you, offering ideas and support. As for those who have harmed you before, their character and way of doing things make it hard for them to change. Once they get the chance, they may again hurt you for their own benefit. For instance, in a cooperative project, if a partner once cheated you out of money, the next time a similar opportunity appears, they might well use the same trick to take advantage of you again. So with these two types of people, we have to be clear in our hearts, learn to be grateful to the former, and stay wary of the latter. 101. People who are willing to praise others are often excellent themselves, because they don't need to tear others down to satisfy their own sense of achievement. Those who enjoy complimenting others actually have a positive and healthy mindset and a relatively high level of personal cultivation. They can see the shining points in other people and sincerely express appreciation and praise, which shows that they have a broad mind and won't become jealous because of others' excellence. They have already gained enough satisfaction from their own growth and achievements and do not need to elevate themselves by belittling others in order to prove their worth. For example, in a high-performing team, there may be a member who is always able to notice colleagues' strengths and actively praise them, while they themselves also perform outstandingly at work, with solid professional ability and a strong spirit of cooperation. They understand that everyone making progress together is the best outcome, so they use praise to create a positive and uplifting atmosphere. Such people are not only outstanding themselves, but also bring positive energy to those around them. 102. That I am this world. There is no truly accidental slip of the tongue. It is almost always a genuine feeling leaking out from the subconscious. Those who joke about you are not necessarily just joking, because if the thought had never existed in their mind, it would not come out of their mouth. Many times, what we think of as slips of the tongue are not random at all, but rather unintentional exposures of real thoughts buried in the subconscious. When the brain is running at high speed, our conscious mind may be trying to control what we say, but some of the ideas in the subconscious can still pop out unexpectedly and show themselves in the form of a verbal slip. For example, someone may appear unconcerned about something on the surface, but during a conversation they accidentally say the wrong thing and reveal how much they actually care inside. That is the subconscious at work. Similarly, those remarks that seem like they're just teasing you may also hide deeper meaning, because if that idea wasn't in their heart, they wouldn't say it so easily. They may be using the cover of a joke to express opinions or emotions that are hard to say directly in normal circumstances. So we shouldn't only listen to the literal surface of what is said, we should also pay attention to the real intentions that may be hidden behind the words. 103. People who are smooth and kind to everyone outside, but who use harsh words and act irresponsibly toward those closest to them, should never be trusted deeply. This kind of person always gives the impression in social situations of being well-rounded, friendly, and easy to get along with, as if they can get along with anyone. They greet others with smiles, eagerly offer help, and win a lot of praise and goodwill. However, when dealing with their own closest family and dearest friends, they seem to put on a completely different face. They often lash out over trivial matters, speak harshly, and neglect the responsibilities they should bear, venting all the negative emotions they suppress outside onto their loved ones. This inconsistency between their public and private behavior reveals their inner selfishness and lack of genuine emotional maturity. They simply do not understand how to cherish those who are closest to them. If you form a deep relationship with such a person, you are bound to be hurt sooner or later, so once you discover someone like this around you, it is better to keep your distance and interact with caution. 104. Looking to the left with the eyes means recalling, while looking to the right means thinking up a lie. From the perspective of psychology and behavioral science, the direction of eye movement can sometimes reflect a person's current mental activity. When someone's eyes move to the left, they are very likely activating the memory area of the brain, trying to recall things that happened in the past and related details, because this memory area of the brain has a certain connection with sensory feedback on the left side of the body, so when recalling, the eyes will unconsciously move left. When the eyes move to the right, it often indicates that the person is actively thinking, especially when they are fabricating a lie or inventing and processing what they are about to say. Creating a lie requires the brain to quickly construct new content, and the right side of the brain is more involved in this kind of creative thinking activity, so correspondingly the eyes will tend to look to the right. For example, when asking someone where they were yesterday, if their eyes look left and they clearly describe where they went and what they did, the story is relatively credible. But if their eyes look right and they stammer through a vague description, they are quite possibly making up events that never actually happen. Therefore, by observing the direction of a person's eye movements, we can make a preliminary judgment about the truthfulness of what they say. 105. When people lie, they tend to touch their neck, which is a typical form of compulsive behavior. In interpersonal interactions, body language often unconsciously reveals a person's inner secrets, and touching the neck is one of the more typical behaviors that shows up when someone is lying. After telling a lie, a person will naturally feel tense and guilty inside, and these feelings need to be eased through some kind of outward movement. Touching the neck becomes a subconscious choice for many people. They may lightly touch their neck with their hand or rub it a few times, trying to use this action to disperse their nervousness and at the same time make themselves look more natural, as if it were just a casual, unconscious gesture, so as to hide the unease that comes from lying. For example, in a business negotiation, if Party B is concealing something about the terms of cooperation, they may keep touching their neck while explaining those parts, and someone observant can pick up this detail and start to doubt the truthfulness of what they are saying. So by carefully watching such body movements, we can get some help in judging whether others are lying. 106. In some group chats, when someone suddenly pats you, it's usually not a mistap, they're generally interested in you. In everyday use of group chats on apps like WeChat, when you see a notification that someone has patted you, don't just assume it was a random mistake. In most cases, it actually means that the other person has a certain level of interest in you. Maybe they want to get your attention and start a conversation with you. Perhaps they've already noticed that your messages in the group are interesting, or they're simply curious about you as a person. By using pat, a light, casual, and not overly direct way, they test your reaction and see if they can open the door to further interaction, or they might hope to use this to get closer to you. For example, in a classmates group, If an old classmate you haven't spoken to in a long time pats you, it's probably because they want to reconnect and chat about how life has been. So next time this happens, you might as well respond proactively. You never know, it could lead to an interesting conversation. 107. People who love joking at others' expense often enjoy putting others down, can't stand seeing others do well, and are usually narrow-minded inside. Those who are always keen on making jokes about others may seem, on the surface, to be just creating a relaxed atmosphere and saying things that sound harmless, but in reality their motives are often not that simple. They frequently make fun of others' shortcomings or embarrassing moments in order to suppress them. Seeing someone else awkward or uncomfortable in front of a crowd gives them a sense of satisfaction. They also tend to hate it when others outshine them. Whenever someone around them achieves something or receives praise, they'll make sarcastic jokes to bring them down a notch and dim their light. This behavior reflects their inner narrowness and lack of tolerance and appreciation for others' strengths. They only care about keeping themselves in the superior position. So when dealing with people who like to joke about others all the time, you should stay alert and not let their words affect your emotions and your life. 108. That someone who has betrayed you once will almost certainly betray you again. Once unfaithful, never again to be used, applies to anyone. If you go soft and choose to forgive, you're really being cruel to yourself. When a person has already betrayed you, whether by cheating in a relationship, leaking your secrets at work, or stabbing you in the back in a friendship, it means they have a serious problem with loyalty and moral boundaries. Such people usually lack firm principles and respect for others. Whenever there is enough temptation or the right circumstances, they are very likely to choose betrayal again. They have already crossed the line they should have, and having tasted the benefits of using underhanded means or satisfying selfish desires, it becomes very hard for them to restrain themselves in the future. If you forgive them easily out of softness, you're basically giving them another chance to hurt you, and they may do even worse next time, while you keep falling back into the pain of being hurt. So when it comes to people who have betrayed you, you must firmly distance yourself and protect your own heart and life. 109. People whose personality is written all over their face usually don't have bad character, while those who can control their emotions are truly extraordinary. People whose personality shows directly on their face reveal their joy, anger, sorrow, and happiness very clearly. They are often simple and straightforward inside, not the type to hide things or play tricks, and whatever they think tends to show through their expressions and demeanor. Such people are usually kind-hearted and don't like scheming or manipulation. They treat others sincerely, so in terms of character they are generally trustworthy. Those who can control their emotions, however, are on another level. When they face sudden situations, disappointments, or even direct provocation from others, they can restrain their anger, sadness, and other emotions, refusing to let feelings dictate their actions, instead calmly analyzing and solving the problem. This requires strong self-discipline and inner cultivation. Being able to do this shows that their mental maturity has reached a high level. In life and work, they can often rely on this steadiness and rationality to achieve significant success, which is why they are anything but ordinary. 110. People who like to add words like maybe and probably when they speak are often indecisive in the way they handle things. In daily conversations, you'll notice some people habitually say things like, maybe this should be done like this, or I'll probably go there tomorrow. This may seem like just a speech habit, but it actually reflects a hesitant state of mind when it comes to making decisions. These people lack sufficient certainty and decisive judgment. They're always worried that the decision they make might not be correct and are afraid of bearing the consequences, so when expressing their thoughts, they use vague wording to leave themselves some room. Whether it's small everyday choices like what to eat or wear, or major life decisions such as career paths or investment choices, they tend to hesitate and struggle to make a clear, quick choice. Over time, this indecisive way of doing things can cause them to miss many good opportunities. 111. When someone keeps checking their watch during a conversation with you, it means they want to end the talk and leave as soon as possible. If, while you're talking to someone, you notice that they are frequently glancing at their watch, this is actually a very clear signal that in their mind they're already thinking about how to wrap things up and move on. Maybe they have another important appointment coming up and are under time pressure, so they keep looking at the time to see how much is left, hoping you'll pick up on the hint and bring the conversation to a close. Or maybe the discussion simply doesn't interest them very much and they're starting to feel impatient. Using watch checking is a polite way to express their desire to stop talking, instead of abruptly cutting you off and seeming rude. Whatever the reason, when you notice this behavior, you should be considerate and start shortening what you're saying and ending the conversation so that both of you can avoid an awkward situation. 112. People who like raising cats and dogs and can't help wanting to pet small animals they see on the street are generally very kind. Those who love keeping cats and dogs usually feel deep affection for small animals. They are willing to spend time, energy, and money to take care of these little lives, giving them a warm home, enough food, and plenty of love. In daily life, when they see stray kittens or puppies by the roadside, they can't resist the urge to go over and gently touch them, and their eyes are filled with tenderness and fondness. This love for small animals actually reflects the kindness in their hearts. They can understand and empathize with the needs of these weak and vulnerable creatures and respect each individual life. They also tend to treat people with the same kindness, being more willing to help and care for others. In their view, both humans and animals deserve to be treated gently, so people who like to be close to small animals are, in most cases, kind-hearted and able to bring warmth and goodwill to those around them. 113. People who seem especially gentle on the outside are often very mature inside. In life, there is a type of person who always gives others a gentle outward impression. They often wear a smile, speak softly, treat others with politeness and patience, and seem like they won't easily lose their temper or get anxious no matter what happens. Behind this gentle exterior, however, there is usually a very mature inner world. They've gone through many trials in life and have learned how to manage their emotions, so they aren't easily disturbed by trivial matters and know how to look at problems from other people's perspectives, understanding and accepting differences, which is why they appear so mild and composed. They have a clear sense of self, know what they want, and understand how to face life's challenges. When encountering difficulties or conflicts, they are better at resolving issues in a calm, peaceful way rather than impulsively fighting to prove who is right or wrong. This immaturity gives them a unique charm in everyday life. 114. People who are shameless when borrowing money will also make endless excuses when it's time to pay it back. In relationships, how someone borrows and repays money is often the clearest way to see their character. Those who are thick-skinned when borrowing usually don't care about the other person's situation or feelings. They only think about their own needs. In order to get the money, they will keep pestering, begging, and making all kinds of promises, and even if the other person is clearly embarrassed or reluctant, they still refuse to let it go. But when it comes time to repay, these same people will typically delay in every possible way, coming up with various excuses, such as, "I'm really short of cash right now," or "the money's already been spent, I can't pay you back yet," and so on. In short, they just don't want to fulfill their obligation to repay. This is because they lack honesty and a sense of responsibility, always putting their own interests first and never considering that the money they borrowed was given out of trust. So when you encounter people who are shameless in borrowing money, you must be very cautious, so as not to bring unnecessary trouble and loss upon yourself. 115. People who are deeply insecure inside always hope to see others make a fool of themselves. Deep down, they lack recognition and approval of themselves and constantly feel inferior to others, living in a long-term state of self-denial. Their hearts are very sensitive and they care a lot about how others see them, yet they can't find a good way to truly build their own confidence. So when they see someone else embarrassed, in an awkward situation, or failing at something, it feels like a kind of psychological balance to them, as if other people's misfortune proves that they themselves aren't that bad, and they gain a distorted sense of satisfaction from it. For example, at school, some students secretly feel pleased when others do badly on an exam or make mistakes in a competition. In fact, this just reflects the deep inferiority in their hearts. They need to use other people's failures to comfort their own fragile self-esteem. 116. People who speak very bluntly and directly usually don't have high emotional intelligence. Those who talk in a straight line often say whatever is on their mind without any filtering. They don't like to go around in circles and don't think much about how their words might affect others. When expressing opinions or evaluating something, they may be overly direct, even a bit hurtful, and ignore the occasion and the other person's feelings. For example, after someone has carefully prepared a performance, a straight-talking person might immediately point out all the flaws without first acknowledging the effort and the good parts, leaving the other person feeling very upset. Although they may not intend to hurt anyone, this lack of tact and inability to consider others' emotions easily causes conflict in relationships and leaves a poor impression. From the perspective of emotional intelligence, such people generally don't score very high and need to pay more attention to tone and communication skills when interacting with others. 117. That the people who talk to you one-on-one are usually the ones who truly care about you. In life, we are often in various groups, and the evaluations and attitudes others have toward us vary widely. Those who are willing to pull you aside to talk privately, point out your problems, or give you advice are usually the ones who genuinely wish you well. They don't criticize you in public or embarrass you in front of others. Instead, they choose to communicate in private, in a gentle and sincere way, because they care about your feelings and hope you can clearly recognize your shortcomings and make improvements. The issues they raise may make you feel uncomfortable for a moment, but their intentions are rooted in concern for your growth. They believe you have the ability to change, so they're not afraid of offending you and are willing to risk making you unhappy in order to tell you what's really on their mind. Such people are worth cherishing and being grateful for, and we should take their opinions seriously. 118. What a person dislikes often reveals their true character more than what they like. When people talk about what they like, they may be influenced by many external factors, such as trends or social atmosphere. Sometimes, in order to please others or fit into a group, they will claim to like certain things. However, when they talk about what they dislike, it usually comes from their most genuine inner feelings and more accurately reflects their personality. For example, if someone really hates selfish behavior, it often means they themselves are relatively generous and considerate of others. If someone strongly dislikes people who procrastinate, it likely means that in their own life and work they value efficiency and act quickly and decisively. Our attitude toward the things we dislike actually reflects the values and principles we stick to deep down. So by understanding what a person hates, we can gain deeper insight into their real character. 119. People who are proactive tend to be happier. Proactive people in life always carry a positive, upward-looking attitude. They don't passively wait for opportunities to fall into their lap, but actively seek them out and create them. At work, they will compete for projects, take the initiative to improve their skills, and keep putting in effort so that they can gain more achievements and recognition in their career, which in turn brings them a sense of fulfillment and accomplishment. In relationships, they dare to express their feelings, take the initiative to care for and look after the person they like, and work hard to nurture the connection so that the relationship becomes sweeter and more satisfying. When facing difficulties and setbacks in life, they don't avoid or escape. Instead, they actively look for ways to solve problems. In this process, They keep growing and training themselves, becoming stronger and more confident. This proactive attitude toward life makes it easier for them to experience the beauty that life has to offer, so they tend to be relatively happier. 120 That if someone is always gossiping about others in front of you, don't tell them too much about yourself, because when you're not there, you will become the main character of their gossip. In life, we inevitably meet people who especially love to gossip. They seem endlessly curious about other people's trivial affairs and are always enthusiastic about digging up and spreading all kinds of rumors. If a person keeps gossiping about others whenever they are with you, you need to be careful. Such people usually lack respect for others' privacy and have no real sense of boundaries. The person who talks to you today about everyone else's business will very likely use the things you tell them, and even your private matters, as gossip material tomorrow, repeating them to others when you're not around and turning you into the subject of their conversations. So, to protect your privacy and avoid unnecessary trouble and embarrassment, it's best not to share too much about yourself with people who love to gossip, and to keep an appropriate distance. The 120 mind reading insights end here. I hope they've given everyone some inspiration. Bye.